Question. When Datre speaks of the universes, does he mean a physical one or a non-physical one? Datre. Well, now you're in the bubble, which is physical. Your bubble is within a big universe, which is non-physical. Now you figure it out. I don't know what you want, because you have both existing within a universe, this universe, which is way beyond your comprehension. You can't even comprehend your bubble. Question. Is this universe an experiment into something? Datre. We never experiment into something. That is physical terminology again. Experiencing is not experimenting. We don't experiment, we experience. There is a decided difference, and that is as close a word as we can come to what's going on. Question. More details about universal timing. Is it controllable by entities in the universe? If not, why not? Datre. We do not control anything. We observe. We watch. We are aware, we do not control. We can observe things that are happening in the universe, and that is what we say with universal timing. We watch what is happening. Now, if there is something that in universal timing needs to connect in some way, shape, or form, then the energies will be, shall we say, guided, and it is up to the events to work with the energies. If the events use the energies in one way or another, that is up to whatever is happening. We don't control anything. But we can direct energies. But if there are connections that would be advantages, we can direct energy. Depending upon the use of the energy. That will depend upon whether the connection or the event or whatever it is will take place. But this is not talking about many things. This is only watching what happens. In other words, if you were to take like two balls, one in each hand, then you were supposed to take both of these balls and start them out at the same time and roll them down these little grooves so that they would come down and meet at a center point at the same time to make a connection. And you did that. As you released the two balls, if the energy in your right hand was stronger than the energy in your left hand, when you rolled these two balls down these grooves, the one in the right hand could very easily get there before the one on the left. So, they would not meet at the same time. But that is energy that is propelling those balls. Now it comes from a central source, which is your body. The energy pushes the balls. Now, the object of the game is to get the two balls to connect. But if they don't, what happens? Nothing big. So it didn't work. No big tragedy, because everything is experience, everything. So they didn't connect. So you will have something different that will happen, and so you will watch what happens. Question. Why are entities out in the universe so interested in physicality? Datre. We are watching this because this is something that has never happened before. The evolution, shall we say, of a physical construct was beyond what was expected. That is simply because of your longevity in physicality. Question. I get the impression that the experiment into physicality did not go the way it was planned. What was the original plan? Datre. The original concept was that you would go through this, but one time. In other words, you would go through this experience and complete it. But you began to go through all kinds of other things to continue holding you in physicality. This was not in the original concept. You were able to live a physical existence in a hologram for as long as you wanted to in order to complete and understand the whole thing. But that did not happen, and your demands for changing physicality became more and more and more. In other words, you wanted this, you wanted that, you wanted something else. You kept wanting, you kept wanting, you kept wanting. So you kept changing and changing and changing. Then you threw death into the picture because you wanted a way to start over. You wanted to start over, so you had to figure out a way of decaying the stuff that made the mass of your hologram so that you could get rid of it. To lay it down in that which you call death, one way or the other, so that you could start with a new body again. The thing that you have done, you have sliced it all up. Then in the death process you drop everything and don't take anything back in with you. So when you die, I don't want any more of this. Get it away from me. Whatever terminology you want to use. I have sinned. Give it away. I want to get rid of my sins, get rid of the energy that I don't want anymore. All the experiences that you have had in the time that you have been on the planet in physical existence having these experiences, you dump. Then you wonder why you come back and do the same thing again? This is what has happened. You have been pampered and babied and pampered, like the little child that lays on the grocery store floor kicking and screaming because they want a piece of candy that the mother says they can't have. That is the way we view you. You asked how we look to you, that is the way you look to us. You pretend to be mature. You pretend to be grown up. But you maintain your childish attitudes and emotions. In maturing, your emotional level does not mature. You still keep the same emotions. You still look at everything exactly the same way that you did when you came into this birth situation. You came up as a little baby. You were told a tree is green, the tree remains green. That is a simplistic thing. But the one thing that you never look at is, what do you believe? How much is it somebody else's thought patterns that they have given to you, and how many are your own? You don't change. You'll see somebody on the street and talk to them and they'll say, well, you haven't changed a bit. No, you haven't changed a bit. You may have gotten taller or fatter or thinner or gray hair or whatever. But you haven't changed a bit. The one thing you came in here, in this experience to get, was to enjoy, to understand, to experience, to experiment in the physical construct of a hologram. Oh, this is so much fun, let's do it again. So you get back on that. What's that big round thing that goes round and round? The Ferris wheel. Let's go for another ride. We get down to the bottom and instead of getting off the wheel, you say, oh, I want to go around again. So you get off the wheel, in that which you call death, buy another ticket and get back on the Ferris wheel for another round. Now do you see why you're fascinating to us? Because that is something we cannot conceive. We cannot conceive of anything that wants to do the same thing again. But you do. And you had to create death in order to do it closer together. To start out with, you could live as long as you wanted to. What makes a hologram die? Once a hologram has been formed, it's there. What makes it die? You had to figure out a way to make the body die so you could do it again. But every time you get back on the Ferris wheel, it's like the first time you ever went on it. Yet, from the Ferris wheel, do you realize that everything you look at in the sky and on the ground is still the same? You still have the ground below you. You still have the buildings in the same places they were the last time you went up on the wheel. You still have people and cats and dogs and animals walking around on your planet. You still go up in the sky and look at the trees and whatever you see from the Ferris wheel. It's such a thrill, it's so much fun. Get off. Your ride is finished. Oh, but we want to do it again. Go through the death cycle, buy another ticket and off we go back up around and around and around. Now can you see, from our vantage point, why we can't understand you? What we would like to see happen, which was the original concept, was to get the experiential concept of going through and coming back out into the universe and sharing. But that isn't what happened. And the you that you are is continually, every time you go through the death and the birth, every single time, is trying to push you through so that you can get out of this amusement park with the big Ferris wheel and go someplace else to enjoy something else. Now you asked, so we tell you. We are watching to see if there will be but a few that will get off the Ferris wheel and say, I don't want more. I have experienced enough of this.